Hello, good evening, and welcome to this edition of News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. We are coming to you from the Platinum Place here in Accra, across the world via social media. Let's take a look at our top stories. Coming up tonight, former CEO of National Buffer Stock Company Limited, Hanan Abdul Wahab Aludiba, denies claims of stealing, conspiracy to steal by Attorney General. Also, AG discloses that National Service Authority scandal figure now stands at 2.2 billion cedis instead of the earlier estimated 548 million cedis. Stay with us as the High Court places the former Deputy Executive Director of the authority on a travel stop list as part of a 10 million cedi bail condition after she pleaded not guilty to charges. Much later, Supreme Court directs Attorney General to file response to action filed by civil society organization Democracy Hub against government over what it describes as an unconstitutional and secret MOU with the United States of America on deportation of West African nationals in 2 weeks. National Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association of Ghana destroys over 100 chamfan single-cylinder diesel engines used for illegal mining activities on river bodies across 3 districts. And elsewhere, at least 7 people during intense Russian drone and missile strikes on Ukraine, hours after U.S. President Donald Trump said his plans for an imminent summit in Budapest with Russia's Vladimir Putin had been shelved. Kindly stay for details of these stories and many more. I'm grateful for your time. We start from the Supreme Court tonight, and the Apex Court has ordered the Attorney General's office to file its response to an action filed by civil society organization Democracy Hub against the government, over what it describes as an unconstitutional and secret memorandum of understanding with the United States of America on the deportation of West African nationals in 2 weeks. The group, through its lawyers, Merton and Everett LLP, argues the agreement violates the 1992 Constitution and Ghana's obligations under international law, including the 1951 Refugee Convention, the Convention Against Torture, and the OAU Refugee Convention. The suit seeks 28 reliefs, including a declaration that the MOU is unconstitutional and an order restraining government from implementing it. On Wednesday, October 22, the Apex Court adjourned the matter to November 12, 2025 for consideration. Here's a lawyer for Democracy Hub, Oliver Baka-Vomawo.
So we have 2 applications before the court today. One to disclose the agreement that was signed with the U.S. and the other one for an injunction against its implementation. Now, both applications, those served on the Attorney General, have not been opposed. Formally, there's no argument before the court from the state. And the Supreme Court took notice of that. But in the court's estimation, these are matters of weighty public interest, and that they demand that the Attorney General responds to them. So they have made a formal order, which is to be served on the Attorney General, requiring that they respond to these applications within 2 weeks. Okay. The court has adjourned to the 12th of November for hearing, and hopefully they do file it. If not, the court has given an indication that it's going to proceed without the states. One of the reliefs we are seeking is that the agreement itself violates international law, that by the reason of that, it is not executable and ratifiable. And so one of the reliefs is seeking to prevent Parliament from trying purporting to go ahead and ratify that. So these are the arguments that the Republic must respond to. We know that the state's response is that this is not even an agreement that's ought to be ratified in the first place. We disagree that, but for the fact that it violates international law, it would have been ratifiable. But these are matters that are before the courts, and we hope that the injunction application will be respected while it's pending.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Let's stay on legal matters, this time at the High Court in Accra, and it has dismissed an application from former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Solomon Asamoah, seeking to halt his criminal proceedings. The dismissal followed an application moved by his lawyers, led by Victoria Bath, following an appeal, and same was opposed by the prosecution led by Mrs. Sefako Bache, a chief state attorney. Justice Audrey Kokuvite, the presiding judge, in her ruling said the applicant had not demonstrated any exceptional circumstances for the court to grant his request. Professor Ameyo Kunfi, the former board chairman, and former chief executive Solomon Asamoah are before the court on 6 counts. They've pleaded not guilty to the charges of willfully causing financial loss to the state to the tune of 2 million cedis in the Sky Train project. Mr. Asamoah was granted bail in the sum of 15 million cedis after pleading not guilty to charges on May 13. The former board chairman of GIF, Professor Christopher Meyakufi, is also on a 10 million cedi bail. Both have met their respective conditions, and the case has been adjourned to October 29. Now, members of the opposition New Patriotic Party in the United Kingdom are calling on the Mahama government to provide weekly updates on the ongoing fight against illegal mining. According to the Bristol chapter, sporadic updates without concrete action will yield no meaningful results. At a press conference, communications officer for the NPP UK Bristol chapter, Michael Lampedu, said government efforts must lead to the arrest of not only politically exposed persons, but also kingpins behind illegal mining operations. He stressed until that happens, the incursions by the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NIMAS, will remain an exercise in futility.
Those in charge are not working together, and no one is being held responsible. In response, civil society is demanding action. Organizations such as the Peasant Farmers Association, UTAG, the Ghana Bar Association, and the Catholic Bishop Conference, among others, have called on government to declare a state of emergency in areas affected by galamsey. They warn that the destruction is equivalent to environmental terrorism. Even our National Security Council has advised urgent intervention, yet, despite this cause, the President of the Republic has not declared one. From the diaspora perspective, we have seen better. Here in the UK, we walk beside man-made rivers that are clean, protected, and used for tourism and beauty. In Ghana, we have natural rivers, gifts from God, but we are destroying them because of galamsey. Our leaders have traveled. They know what good leadership looks like. So the question is not whether they know better. The question is why they are not doing better. Let me be clear, we are watching. Travel should not make leaders careless. We in the diaspora are speaking up. Galamsey is not just destroying land, it is destroying trust in governance, trust in the law enforcement, and trust in the promise of Ghana. Now is the time to assign blame. Now is not the time to assign blame, It is the time to take responsibility together. 1, we need regular public updates, weekly or fortnightly, on progress in the fight against galamsey. The kingpins, both political and non-political actors with concessions, must be named and shamed. Agencies have their data. When the NIMOS, National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, reaches a site, it should identify the owner. Publishing every site visited and its ownership will compel stakeholders to act. There should be introspection within the NIMOS is essential. With all due respect, they are concerned about insiders with links to illegal miners who take them off before operations, advising communities to stay away and to move excavators. To curb this, any excavator found parked in a mining area should be impounded to trace operations or operators, since they will return to use it once NIMOS leaves. Immediate license revocation should occur at any site where destruction or evidence of galamsey is found. Whether or not an excavator is present, because that is someone's concession. Licenses should be restored only after owners reclaim the land and remediate the damage. We must empower community to monitor illegal mining, trace the source of our gold, elevate youth and diaspora voices, support farming and illegal mining jobs, and work with our chiefs to protect the land. To conclude, let this not be another press event, let it be a turning point. Galamsey is not just Ghana's problem, it is a warning to the world, written in poisoned rivers and vanishing forests. We must act now.
And that's the opposition NPP UK's Bristol chapter there, giving a message or demanding from government weekly updates or regular updates in the fight against illegal mining. You're watching News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. Do stay. When I come back, we'll be focusing on that presentation by the Attorney General, Dominic Ayine, earlier today. Thank you for staying on News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. Coming up is Insight. On Insight tonight, Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine says money lost in the National Service Authority, that's the NSA scandal, now stands at 2.2 billion cedis and not the earlier 548 million cedis estimated by investigators as at June 2025. The AG, who made his second appearance at Government Accountability Series at the Jubilee House, said the hike in the amount was discovered through a forensic audit by the Auditor General. Prosecution is underway against former Deputy Executive Director Gifty Oware and Executive Director Osei Esibe Entry. And he's also indicated, that's the Attorney General, that his office intends to file about 10 more cases in the NSA scandal and will use some of the public officers and vendors as prosecution witnesses.
Ladies and gentlemen, prosecutions have commenced in the SkyTrain and National Service scandals. In the case of the latter, we have filed charges against the former Chief Executive, Executive Director Osei Esibe Entry and his deputy Gifty Oware. Charges are being prepared against the rest of the public officers and the so-called marketplace vendors. In all, we intend to file about 10 cases in the NSA scandal and will use some of the public officers and vendors as prosecution witnesses. Now, this is a strategy that is working very well for us, and we intend to continue to use that strategy. In a situation where there is a small criminal among big criminals, and the small criminal knows a lot, it is better as a matter of prosecutorial strategy to use a small criminal to get the information in order to be able to succeed, and that is what I'm doing. Also, I wish to announce that the Auditor General has conducted a forensic audit into the NSA, the National Service scandal, and the total amount of money stolen or illegally spent now stands at 2.2 billion, and not the 548 million that was uncovered by my investigators as at June 2025. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I have here a copy of the Auditor General's report. Again, painstaking investigation is very important in criminal matters. And so, based upon what the Auditor General has done, and this is a forensic audit, okay? Forensic audit means that they've gone beyond what ordinary, auditing would have done. And so, we are going to, based upon this, in some cases, change the charge, amend our charge sheets in order to bring fresh charges.
So while the Attorney General was giving us updates, Gifty Oware was in court, and the High Court has issued an order to place her on a travel stop list at all exit points of the country. Now, this is part of conditions surrounding a 10 million cedi bail sum granted her by the High Court after she pleaded not guilty to charges on Wednesday, October 22. In addition to the bail sum, she to produce 3 sureties, 2 of whom are to be justified with landed property within the jurisdiction of the court. Justice Audrey Kokuvite, presiding judge, said the sureties should place copies of their passports and Ghana cards with the registry of the court. The court also directed the accused person to surrender all her travel passports to the court and was also placed on a stop list at all exit points of the country. Now, the court also ordered that she should report to the case investigator on the first and third Tuesdays every month, while the investigator is to file a scheduled report to the court on the last working day of every month. The prosecution has been directed to file disclosures on or before November 19, and the case has been adjourned to November 25 for a case management conference. Appearing in court on Wednesday, October 22, with a bandage wrapped around her left wrist, wearing a multicolored shirt and a black scarf, she denied all 5 charges. She pleaded not guilty to a count of stealing, 2 counts of willfully causing financial loss to the Republic, a count each of using public office for profit, and money laundering. Let's move on to another major update given by the Attorney General. It has to do with the former CEO of the National Buffer Stock Company Limited, Hanan Abdul Wahab Aludiba, and his wife, Faiza Seidu-Wuni. Now, they are said to have their day in court for prosecution as Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine announced that they will be charged with over 78 million cedi theft from the Buffer Stock Company. Dominic Ayine, providing updates on the case involving several other high-profile scandals, stated that the charges for stealing, conspiracy to steal, and other offences will be filed on Friday, October 24, 2025. There's more in the following report.
The Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, says investigations have uncovered what he termed as an elaborate criminal network run by former Buffer Stock Company CEO Hanan Abdul Wahab between 2018 and 2024. Evidence the Attorney General revealed shows millions of cedis were channeled into companies owned by the embattled former CEO and his wife Faiza Seidu-Wuni.
Within the period between 2017 and 2024, Mr. Abdul Wahab, in concert with Richard Samasanti and Bismarck Owusu-Boakye, orchestrated a transfer of 78,269,084 Ghana cedis and 4 pesos from the bank accounts of Buffer Stock Company to a private company linked to Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and staff of Buffer Stock at Republic Bank and EcoBank. Evidence shows that the funds were instantly retransferred to companies owned by Abdul Wahab himself and companies and entities owned and associated with him and his wife.
According to Dr. Ayine, 7 firms linked to the couple served as conduits to receive and launder proceeds of crime from Buffer Stock.
Evidence shows that between December 2017 and May 2019, Hanan Abdul Wahab transferred 5,495,780 Ghana cedis and 36 pesos from Buffer Stock company accounts to 2 bank accounts belonging to Aludiba Enterprise, one of his companies at Republic Bank and ABSA. Aludiba Enterprise is not a registered supplier of Buffer Stock Company. Hanan Abdul Wahab between 2019 to January 2022 also orchestrated some suppliers to transfer an amount of 11,998,830 Ghana cedis, 48 pesos, to an entity owned by a staff of Buffer Stock, and later instructed the staff to retransfer the funds to a company owned and run by himself and his wife.
He added that the laundering trail led to massive property acquisition across the country, from prime real estate to luxury assets, all purchased through same web of companies. The Attorney General further disclosed that bank records from EOCO show Hanan Abdul Wahab, his wife, and their entities became the single largest depositors at Republic Bank during the years they operated the criminal enterprise.
A 17-bedroom boutique hotel at Gumani in Tamale, in respect of which the couple used Fauza Company Limited to sign a franchise with Villa Monticello for the price of $250,000. In other words, $250,000. There is a 4-bedroom bungalow situated at Jolo, Accra, valued at 4.1 million cedis. 3-story building that is Chicken Republic, the Chicken Republic building in Tamale, suited at Estate Junction, Tamale. 5-bedroom mansion at Canville, Dorado Street, Tamale. 3-bedroom house, Palissy, Tamale. 1-story building, number 10 Selby Gardens, Achimota, Accra. Then a 0.27 acre plot of land, Estate Junction, Tamale. 0.29 acre of land, close to Workers College, Tamale. We have also frozen all these assets and will be taking steps to have them confiscated to the state in the course of the criminal proceedings.
However, the Attorney General further disclosed that under interrogation, Faiza-Wuni disclosed she was only a housewife and did not engage in any business. Meanwhile, Dr. Ayine also revealed that properties have been frozen and the couple and their collaborators will be formally charged for stealing, conspiracy to steal, and other offences on Friday, October 24, 2025.
Well, Mr. Abdul Wahab Hanan Aludiba has been responding to the claims. He has described them as untrue. In a statement, he further indicated no involvement in the issues being referred to. Let me bring you details of that statement. And it reads, my attention has been drawn to recent statements made by the Honorable Attorney General during a press engagement in which my name was mentioned in connection with allegations of corruption. I wish to state respectfully that these claims are untrue and do not reflect the facts of the matter. I have no involvement in the issues being referred to, and I find the comments deeply unfortunate. I have asked my legal representatives to review the situation and to advise on the appropriate steps to protect my reputation. I look forward to the opportunity to present my side and to have my day in court where I'm confident that the truth will be made clear. I remain fully committed to the principles of honesty, transparency, and integrity that have guided my work throughout my career. The details of a statement by Mr. Abdul Wahab Hanan Aludiba have been joined by anti-corruption campaigner Edem Senanu just to get his thoughts, especially on concerns about whether the Attorney General is not resorting to a public trial or something of the sort with the public pronouncements on these matters. I'm grateful for your time this evening, Edem Senanu. So we've heard from the Attorney General. We've also heard from Mr. Aludiba. He says that he will have his day in court where he would explain his side of the matter. The concern for many people is listening to the Attorney General. For example, in talking about using people implicated in the matter as witnesses, he uses the expression, we are using criminals or lesser criminals or smaller criminals to catch bigger ones. But we know that it's only a court of competent jurisdiction that can pronounce somebody a criminal. Do you agree that what is happening is amounting to a public trial and inadvertently declaring suspects guilty before they're even tried?
Well, thank you. Yes, you are raising a legitimate point when you say the choice of words. We may need to be cautious so that we don't begin to appear to pronounce certain people as having committed crimes when the court proceedings are not yet done. However, as to the suggestion that this is a public trial, it is only a trial to the extent that you have the elements of what constitutes a trial, which include the judge, the prosecution, the defense, the evidence, and you arrive at a conclusion at some stage. And clearly, in this instance, we don't have those elements. It's not a proceeding in a court. There's no judge there. The defense has not yet been made. We have the evidence. We know who's going to prosecute. I would not agree with anyone who says it's a public trial. There's no trial actually taking place. What it is the facts are being given, and this will have to go to court for a final determination. If during the process, in one way or another, the rights and freedoms of some individuals are infringed upon, they will also have the right to seek redress in a court of competent jurisdiction. Let me say that I am saying this because I know in many other jurisdictions, the FBI in the US tends to do the same thing, as well as the special prosecutor, where just before a case is put in court, they make a public declaration of the case in question, the persons involved, the issues at stake. So it's not a new thing at all to have this situation. And many of us in the anti-corruption space appreciate the effort to carry the citizenry along, because what it does is that over time, persons so minded to engage in fraud and stealing from the state will begin to understand that this does not pay.
Finally, we saw the former Deputy Executive Director of the NSA in court today. She pleaded not guilty to the charges leveled against her. And the The Attorney General says he will be in court on Friday as well over this NSA matter. Are you excited about the progress of the cases? What do you anticipate in court in terms of speeding up the process, as many have suggested?
Well, it's good to note that Gifty came back. Others chose not to come back, and that she is being accountable. It's also good that the AG has managed to proceed to this point. They are in court. Let the evidence be given, and let's see what the courts will rule on it.
Are we ending?
I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied at the work done so far. The oral has so many more cases. If it is possible that the decision of the president to have specialized courts could be sped up, so that instead of courts perhaps sitting monthly, they sit daily on these issues, as is done elsewhere, like in Kenya and Zambia. I think that will also allow us to get additional speed. It may be too soon, but I think that if that decision of the president could be executed as soon as possible, it will allow those many other cases also see the light of day, and we'll get some solutions, some sanctions, some rulings on those cases as soon as possible.
I'm grateful for your time this evening, Edem Senanu. Edem Senanu is an anti-graft campaigner. He speaks against corruption, and you just heard him there suggesting how we could expedite the trial on some of these matters. That'll be all for Insight. I'll be back with more. Please stay. Thank you for staying on News Tonight. Now, the University of Ghana's library and its partner institutions are urging students, researchers and the general public to take advantage of the country's expanding digital library resources as part of this year's Library and Open Science Week. Librarians say improved visibility, collaboration and patronage of e-resources will strengthen Ghana's knowledge base and drive national development. There's more in this report.
This year's Library and Open Science Week brings together librarians, researchers, educators and policymakers to explore ways of making knowledge more accessible in Ghana's digital era. Organised under the theme Unlocking Impactful Research Through Open Science, Libraries as Drivers, the week-long event aims to promote the use of online research platforms, open data and institutional repositories to enhance teaching, innovation and collaboration. The former University of Ghana librarian and guest speaker, Emeritus Professor Anaba Alemna, explained that digital visibility remains a major challenge for many institutions, limiting access to valuable local and international research. He emphasized the need for a unified national catalogue, an online system that connects all public and university libraries to improve resource sharing and research efficiency.
They are very expensive, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We get them, and they are mainly journals and books in electronic format. Most of the universities have joined and they are paying, but the people are not using them, especially the students. They bring mainly their notebooks and files to the library to come and read their notes. Meanwhile, the material is there, reference up-to-date materials. They don't use them. So sometimes people don't know that because of our training, we can enhance AI better with our. So AI cannot take over the library, but because we have been trained to determine which one is good or not, we can direct you to various websites that where you can get a better thing.
The acting university librarian of the University of Ghana, Samuel Bensil Agri, said the event provides an opportunity for universities to showcase their digital resources and strengthen partnerships that enhance academic productivity and public access to information.
It's a platform that we can collaborate with each other and share resources, whether rich or small. In our environment, we have a lot of things that we haven't made known to the world. And this is one of the avenues that makes it transparent. It makes us to collaborate with others. It makes it all encompassing. And we want the whole world and Ghana to know that is the field that is moving on. And our researchers, our students, this is the field we are moving on to, and they need to get on board.
5 universities, the University of Ghana, University of Health and Allied Sciences, Accra Technical University, Central University, Akintin Apia Minka University of Skills Training and Entrepreneurial Development, collaborated to mark the event. The universities believe that through open science and digital collaboration, Ghana's libraries can become more visible, accessible, and impactful in shaping knowledge for national progress.
Now, there's some exciting news within the Ghanaian public relations and communications practice space. Respected practitioner Esther Koba has been inaugurated as the president of the International Public Relations Association. Her tenure is set to officially begin in 2026. The ceremony took place during the 2025 IPRA Golden World Awards Gala Dinner held at the Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra. It was a celebration of excellence, honoring outstanding global public relations campaigns across various categories.
A ceremony that took place during the 2025 International Public Relations Association Golden World Awards Gala Dinner held at Mövenpick Ambassador Hotel, Accra. Ghanaian communications practitioner Esther A.N. Koba was inaugurated president of the International Public Relations Association with effect from 2026. The event celebrated outstanding public relations campaigns under various categories. Vice President of Ghana, Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, graced the event congratulating IPRA on its 70th anniversary. She also congratulated Ms. Koba on her appointment and wished her well. Outgoing IPRA President Natasha Pavlovic Buhas congratulated Ms. Koba on her appointment, adding her presidency reflects IPRA's belief in global collaboration. Ms. Koba, who also serves as the current president of the Institute of Public Relations Ghana, reaffirmed her commitment to advancing communication that fosters peace, trust, and sustainable development.
Subsequently invited to be on the board representing Africa after somebody else who was on the board representing Africa had finished serving his term. I served for 2 terms, and I was informed that I had done my 2 terms, and so I was happy to continue being a member.
Present at the event were public relations professionals and IPRA members from many countries.
Now, in a powerful celebration of courage and resilience, Women of Valor has launched the maiden edition of its Seeds of Strength, a movement dedicated to offering solidarity, hope, and reassurance to women battling breast cancer. The event took place in Accra, assembling survivors, health professionals, and families to have conversations on surviving breast cancer and issues of mental, financial, and emotional support. Anaya Osari reports.
I would say when I was diagnosed, I was really afraid because I quite remember I wanted to go and drown myself because no one was helping me. My family thought like there was nothing wrong with me and all those things. Like I was just creating attention, and I heard them saying like I've drank poison to kill myself. And from the treatment, like I went through surgery, 10 cycles of chemo, I did radiation before on hormonal therapy. But in 2 years' time, I had a reoccurrence. That was just 2 years' time, and I had a reoccurrence. But I have to go back to the oncology to ask, and I was being told I have to do another chemo again. So I did another 10 cycles of chemo again, still on treatment, and I would just say, I always thank God for my life.
When it started in 2017, it was a painful which I ignored for months before reporting to the hospital just because the pain persisted. I reported to the hospital in late December 2017 and went through some series of misdiagnoses and was eventually diagnosed in June 2018.
Like the courageous survivors who have braved the journey of breast cancer, many women continue to confront the uncertainty, fear, and emotional toll the disease brings. In response, Women of Valor has launched the first edition of Seeds of Strength, an initiative designed to provide women battling breast cancer with a strong system of solidarity, hope, and reassurance. The initiative brought together survivors, healthcare professionals, and supporters to share stories of resilience, offer emotional support, and celebrate the strength of women who
Now, what happens when healers become patients? Breast cancer doesn't discriminate. It reaches the very people who may know it best. And breast cancer among health workers isn't just a personal battle, but a disruption of the very system meant to provide for others. October is devoted to creating awareness on breast cancer and the need for regular checkup. Management of the Ghana GHOne has donated 20,000 cedis to support 2 health workers battling breast cancer at the Ridge Hospital. The kind gesture is to offer relief to them. CEO for Ghana GHOne, Judith Ajoba-Blay, spoke to the media after the donation.
In doing our research, we found out that there are some health workers who themselves are breast cancer patients, which was quite a unique story to us. And for this year, as we are creating awareness for breast cancer, we chose the theme, every story is unique and every journey matters. So in alignment with that theme, we thought that we should look for a very unique breast cancer story. And in this one, where health workers themselves are patients and they are still taking care, sacrificing and taking care of patients, we thought it was the most unique case we could come and support. So we are here, we came to do some donations and talk to the patients and to encourage them, but to also let them know that we are going to support them. So it's not a one-time thing. Now, for us at Ghana GHOne, we are doing this for a few reasons. One is Breast Cancer Month. 2, we are also committed and aligned with Mahama Care's initiative. You know of that where the president is saying we should care for the vulnerable and we should support the needy. Exactly what we are doing.
This is News Tonight with me, Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah. Now, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, is asking the United Nations to continue championing financial justice by advocating for debt relief, sustainable investment, and innovative financing mechanisms that empower countries to drive their own development. According to him, predictable, concessional, and climate-sensitive financing must become a cornerstone of renewed multilateralism, which prioritizes people and planet over politics and profit. The following report has more.
Part of activities marking the United Nations 80th anniversary, the UN held a high-level dialogue with stakeholders to reaffirm its vision and renew its call to action for a more effective, representative and fit-for-purpose institution in a changing world. The dialogue highlighted the global challenges that define this era, including climate change, displacement, inequality, misinformation, invasions, and collective punishments. The UN Resident Coordinator, His Excellency Zia Chaudhry, said dialogue remains one of the most powerful tools to share ideas and co-create solutions. He emphasized that the UN at 80 serves as a reminder to preserve spaces for open, honest conversations where bold ideas are tested and uncomfortable truths are confronted.
But I would argue that dialogue is one of the most powerful tools we have to share ideas and create solutions. And resolutions are our collective decisions and promises to humanity. So I would like, Tony has said, I'd rather talk all day and fight all day. I'd rather hear about more dialogues than hear about more guns. When we choose to fight instead of talk, we do ourselves and the world.
Speaking on the theme, the future of multilateralism in a changing world, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, said the future of multilateralism must be one of renewal and reform, not retreats. Nations must evolve into a more agile, representative and responsive institution capable of addressing 21st century realities while upholding its founding ideals.
As we reflect on these themes during the ensuing panel discussions, let us do so with a shared sense of purpose and renewed commitment to collective action. The challenges before us are complex, but they are not insurmountable. If we act together, guided by the principles of solidarity, inclusivity, and shared responsibility that lie at the heart of the United Nations, we shall overcome our efforts. The future of multilateralism will depend not only on institutional reform and financial equity, but also on our collective courage to build trust, deepen cooperation, and uphold the ideals of peace, justice, and sustainable development for all.
Mr. Ablakwa also charged the UN to continue mobilizing global consensus around climate change, mitigation, adaptation and financing, ensuring that commitments translate into concrete action. He added that for small islands, developing states and least developed countries, access to reliable and adequate climate finance is not a privilege, it is a lifeline.
It's now time for Business Brief on News Tonight.
The Business Brief is brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Business Tonight, MP for GHOne Central, Kwame Asare-Obing, has urged Ghanaians to rise above the pain of colonialism and embrace a future built on self-reliance, innovation and unity. Speaking at the launch of the GHOne Central Special Economic Zone, he said it's time for Africans to move beyond the shadows of the past and focus on developing their own nations.
The time has come for us as Africans to lift our gaze beyond the shadows of the past and fix our eyes on the promise of the future, a future of self-reliance, innovation, and unity. Let us transform our struggles into strength, our memory into motivation, and our history into a source of pride and power. Instead of complaining, let us draw inspiration from courageous explorers like Don Diego de Azambuja and Vasco da Gama, reminding us that true greatness is born not in comfort, but in the willingness to risk everything to develop your country and leave behind a legacy of hope and progress. They did what they had to do.
Away from that, Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Emilia Arthur, says it's important for Ghanaians to work collectively towards eliminating gender disparity and inequity, whether directed at women or men. She says this will build a fairer and more equitable society, particularly within the fisheries sector. Speaking at the launch of the With Fishers for Fishers and gender-responsive conservation projects by the NGO GHOne, the minister called for inclusive policies and collaboration among stakeholders to ensure that men and women can thrive and benefit equally from the country's marine and fisheries resources. Zuleha Nuhu has more.
Across Ghana's coastline, thousands of women wake up at dawn to buy, process and sell fish. Yet, despite being the backbone of the fisheries value chain, many of them remain excluded from key decisions that shape their livelihoods. From access to credit and fishing inputs to leadership opportunities, gender inequity continues to hold back potential within one of the country's most vital sectors. But that tide may be turning. A new initiative by local NGO GHOne, in partnership with key stakeholders, is seeking to change the narrative. At the launch of the initiative, Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Emilia Arthur, called on Ghanaians to work collectively to remove gender disparities, whether towards men or women, and to build a fairer, more equitable future within the fisheries sector.
The sector has a lot of women, particularly when it comes to post-harvest. Even though men go fishing, some women sometimes finance the fishing expeditions. So some of the canoes you see that men are the ones going on fishing expeditions. Some are paid for by the women. Sometimes the women give the men money to go run the business of fishing. But sometimes gender inequity and what have you works against them. Sometimes they also really stand firm and also deal with men. And what we are trying to say is we have to work in ways that the issue of gender disparity is removed.
The Norwegian ambassador to Ghana, John Mikhail Fistad commended the initiative, and his government is happy to support a project that promotes inclusion, equality, and sustainable development within Ghana's fishery sector.
It's a big sort of social and economic effort that is happening. And you won't see very often that you get this bottom-up effort. It's not a top-down thing, you know. It's something which is endorsed by the government, of course, which is local population, together with NGOs, financed partly by us, of which we're very proud. But so it's a grassroots effort here.
Founder and executive director of NMPOANO, Kofi Agboga, is urging government to strengthen collaboration with civil society organizations and fully implement gender policies to enhance conservation efforts.
We expect government to support the cause of CSOs. Already, we have also been working with the government every step of the way, helping to develop the gender dimensions, gender policy and all that in the fishery sector. So for this conservation effort, we think that you cannot do conservation without involving gender.
Dubbed with Fishes for Fishes and gender-responsive conservation, the project aims to empower both men and women in coastal communities to play equal roles in sustaining Ghana's marine resources.
That'll be all for Business Brief. Monica Bukari is standing by with the latest from the world of sports.
The Business Brief was brought to you by CompuGhana, passion for technology.
Joining me here on Sports Brief, I am Monica Bukari. Now, Member of Parliament for Ashaman and Chairman of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Sports, Ernest Nogbe, has expressed strong confidence that the Black Stars are ready to advance beyond the quarter-final stage in the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup. Speaking exclusively to EIB Sports, Ernest Nogbe emphasized the need for the team to engage in more friendly matches as part of their preparation, stressing that consistent international exposure will be crucial to the squad's success on the global stage.
We are expecting to go past the quarterfinals, semi-finals at this stage. We may not be able to win the trophy realistically, but we should be able to be in the top 4 going into this particular tournament. And I'm very sure that the boys are poised, and then with some added on technical team, technical managers, etc., added hands, etc., we'll be able to get to the semi-final of this tournament. And I'm hopeful because, as you can see, the players, the team has started picking up gradually, and more friendlies must be organized for the team. And friendlies, not mere friendlies, competitive friendlies must be organized for the team. And Lansah will be playing Japan, Korea in November. These are the teams that we need to be playing so that the boys will be prepared towards the competition.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Ashaman, Ernest Nogbe, also stated that Ghana's qualification for the 2026 FIFA World Cup means a great deal to the country.
Means a lot because this, football unites the whole country. We just came out from a very serious election, and this qualification will go a long way to bring all of us together as one people. I was in the stadium during the final match, and you realize that there was no differentiation between the political parties, both NDC, NPP, all other political parties were jubilating, hugging each other for their qualification. So it's something that is good for the country at this moment to unite us. And don't also forget that the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is investing so much in the sporting activities in the country, not only football, but other sporting disciplines. And so it's something that is commendable, and we are all happy and elated about it.
Now to some women's football, and British High Commissioner to Ghana, Deputy Keith McMahon, has expressed his excitement ahead of the much-anticipated clash between Ghana's Black Queens and England's Lionesses. Speaking ahead of the international friendly, McMahon said he was looking forward to seeing the Black Queens deliver a decent performance against one of the top women's football teams in the world.
I think it's been, certainly from what I've heard today, the preparations are going really well. I know that the Lionesses will be really keen and are looking forward to the Black Queens arriving, because the Lionesses are aware of the Black Queens, how good they are, how technically gifted so many of them are. It's always great to see so many really gifted footballers. And obviously they've got such resilience as well. But they're going to come up against the tactical nous of England, and how good they are. And they're fierce. They're European champions. They don't want to lose to anyone. So I think with all of that, and with maybe 35,000 people supporting the Lionesses, I think it will be a great game, and it's something that I think will be a real kind of TV spectacle. So I hope as many people as possible are going to look into it.
And that will be it for sports. My name is Monica Bukari. Back to you, Bernice.
Thank you very much, Monica. And before I go, a quick international update. Ukraine officials say at least 7 people have been killed, including 2 children, during an intense Russian drone and missile strike on Ukraine. And now there's more news when you log on to starfm.com.gh. You can also follow us on all our socials. We are GHOne TV for the latest news updates. I'm Bernice, Abu-Baidoo, Lansah, produced by Eko Bwache this evening. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.
In New Atuabo, the resettled community had outgrown the water facilities. Ghana Foundation intervened.
You better go for his foundation, I say.